In this module, we'll talk about how to solve a transportation problem using Excel. So here's a simple problem. You have certain units being shipped from El Paso, New York to demand centers in Atlanta, Omaha, and Seattle. The capacity at El Paso and New York are 12,000 and 10,000 respectively, and demand in Atlanta is 8,000, 10,000 in Omaha, and Seattle is 4,000. It's a nicely balanced problem because if you add these numbers across, all the demands add up to 22,000 and all the capacity add up to 22,000. You need to figure out how much should you ship from El Paso to Atlanta, El Paso to Omaha, El Paso to Seattle, New York to Atlanta, Omaha, and Seattle. Of course, you need to know what are the costs per unit of shipment, and those are given to you as $4, $5, $6. These are the costs from El Paso to Atlanta, Omaha, and Seattle respectively. From New York City, the costs are $3, $7, and $9. If you decide to ship, for example, 1 unit from Atlanta, 2 units from El Paso to Omaha, and 4 units from El Paso to Seattle. These are just numbers I'm making up. You know, you would have shipped a total of 7 units from El Paso. So this column I'm going to enter total, which is auto sum. Okay, and the same thing is true for this one. And if again I make up some numbers here, again these are some made up numbers, and I do the total here, total received at Atlanta will be 4, 3 plus 1. Total received in Omaha is 2 and 5, and total received in Seattle is 8, 4, and 4. Obviously, you want to provide the maximum so that all the capacity is used up and all the demands are met, because it is a perfectly balanced problem. If that's the case, what will be the total shipping cost? Well, shipping cost is going to be 1 unit being shipped from El Paso to Atlanta at $4 a piece. So $4 times 1 plus $5 times 2 plus $6 times 4, and so on. So I have a quick way of calculating. It's known as sum product. And basically you select these are the quantities being shipped at these costs. So it will respectively multiply these numbers and will give you a total. Anyway, this you need to find out what are the best quantities, what are the optimum quantities, so that you fulfill all the demand. That means total ship should be equal to demand, and total capacity should be adding up to the total capacity here, total shipped, total capacity. They should be equal. And you want to minimize the total cost. And to do so, you will have to use the solver. To use the solver, you click on data, and you should see solver as an available option. Now, just in case you don't have solver available here in the data at the extreme right, you'll have to go to a simple step of installing the solver, and this is how you do it. You go to File, you go to Options, and under Options you click on Add-ins, Solver Add-ins, double click on that, go and click on what you want to add in. Make sure that you select Solver Add-in, click OK, and it should install Solver. Now, once you have Solver available, click on Solver. You need to tell them what do you want to maximize or minimize. Well, this is a quantity, this one, where we have 118. That is the one that you want to minimize. So make sure you select that one and click on minimize. Now it is asking you by changing what variable cells. Well, the variable cells are these ones. You click on them and these are the variable cells. The ones in blue, these are the quantities which you are changing to optimize your total cost. So by changing these variables. Now it will ask you, what are the constraints? What are the limitations? Well, the limitations are going to be, we are going to add constraints. Add. The first limitation is all these values, the total you're shipping, should add up to, and we'll select equal to, the capacity. So the numbers out here, 7 and 12, they should not be 7 and 12, but they should turn out to be 12,000 and 10,000. So that's constraint number 1. Second constraint is all the units that are being shipped to the demand centers, they should add up to 8,000, 10,000 and 4,000 respectively. So again, we selected these cells and they should add up to or become equal to the constraints. And I'm going to add one more constraint, which is going to be, I want these numbers to be integer, whole numbers, not fractions. So I'm going to just say add one more constraint, and it's going to be these variable cells and they should be integer. So I'm going to go select this one, integer. Okay, and once I have it, I click on it, solve, and it says, okay, we found an answer, and this is the answer it found. Yeah, I'm going to say, okay, keep the solver solution okay, and by the way, it gives you the best answer. These are the answers. I'm going to make them bold so you can see them and make them a little larger. So it basically tells you that you should really ship 0 units from El Paso to Atlanta, 8,000 units to Omaha from El Paso, and so on. And if you do that, this is the minimum possible cost. Again, I'm going to make it larger. Your cost is going to be 102,000. There's no better combination. So that's how you find the optimal quantities. Hope this helps.